On today's Warehouse Safety Tips Wednesday, we'll be covering the 6S methodology part 3, so stay tuned. Welcome to Warehouse Safety Tips. You can find the show notes to each episode, links to information mentioned on the podcast, the social media platforms we're on, and anything else related to the podcast at warehousesafetytips.com. Now, if you're a seasoned podcast listener, this podcast is going to be different from most you listen to. It's based around exactly what the name implies, warehouse safety tips. And since the people in this industry are busy, we know that time is money and each episode will be as short and to the point as possible. And now, with all of that out of the way, let's get to the podcast. The last couple of weeks, we've covered the first 3 S's of the 6S methodology: sort, set in order, and shine. Just to recap, they break down as follows. Sorting is categorizing items to determine what's necessary and or unnecessary. Setting in order is organizing and arranging the items or equipment that you use in the most efficient order. And shining is, in the simplest of terms, cleaning. Now that brings us to our remaining S's: standardize, sustain, and safety. The reason we're combining the last 3 S's together is that they go hand in hand with the first 3 S's. Cases in point. Standardizing involves fine-tuning the first 3 S's into a routine. Sustaining is taking that standardized routine and making it second nature among staff. And lastly, safety, which upgraded the 5S methodology into the 6S methodology, involves identifying hazards and implementing preventative steps to assure that the previous S's are all being completed within a safe environment. Now, if you listen to part 1 of our 6S methodology series, you remember that there's a Japanese word synonymous with the 5S methodology. That word is kaizen. It comes from the words kai, which means change, and zen, which means to make good or better. Put them together and you have the principle of constant improvement and or change for the better. So does that mean that once you find a routine that's good, you keep doing it forever? Of course not. Once you get to the end, you just go right back to the first S and start the whole process over again. That ensures constant improvement and works toward the ultimate goal of this podcast: improved safety. Before moving on, here's a word from one of our sponsors. If you've ever been to or worked in a warehouse, you know just how important safety is to both management and staff. It's almost impossible to go 10 steps without seeing safety tape, angles, signs, and or safety products. It's these items that show us how to be safe and avoid danger in the workplace. And if you're looking for the best products to make this happen, look no further than Mighty Line. Mighty Line floor signs and floor markings offer the best industrial products out there. We're proud to have Mighty Line as the official floor sign and floor marking company for the Warehouse Safety Tips podcast and site. Go to mightylinetape.com/safety tips to request a sample pack of their incredible safety signs and floor markings. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Warehouse Safety Tips. If you visit warehousesafetytips.com, you'll find the show notes for this episode and access to all of our blog posts, previous podcasts, advertiser information, and much more. Thank you for listening to Warehouse Safety Tips and have a safe day.